with the improved relationship, upgraded relationship with the US, I think more US companies will be attracted to this location because of the friendly relationship. So that will benefit Vietnam not just in 2024, but also in the years to come. Some of the industries will be, I think, will benefit, for example, in the tech-related industry, such as, I think, semiconductors. There will be interest in investing in Vietnam, taking advantage or capitalizing on Vietnam's location and also Vietnam's position in the supply chain. So, and over the years, there have been a lot of changes or shifts in supply chain to Vietnam, and that's where the Vietnam can capitalize on the strengths that you already have, your labor force, and also the land and your location in within the supply chain. So Vietnam itself is already part of the tech supply chain, right? So for companies, for example, in the semiconductor, they want to be in the different parts of the supply chain, right? Those are companies, for example, on the upstream, they might also want to think about positioning in Vietnam to be part of the entire supply chain as well. So that will be one area that some companies will be thinking, how can I capitalize on the supply chain that is already there and also developing. So I want to be part of it so that my production will be more efficient and you can save on transportation, for example, and also faster to the market. So last year, manufacturing sector in a way suffered in the first part of the year because of lower demand for exports, lower demand for trade. So this is a direct relationship between trade and manufacturing. In the second half of the year, situation improved. The semiconductor, the tech cycle, the semiconductor cycle started to turn. So that helped Vietnam a lot. So how can Vietnam overcome this sort of vulnerability? How can we overcome? One of the ways to overcome is to diversify your markets, because right now US is the largest export market for Vietnam. It's very large, and so anything happens to the demand in that market, for example, lower demand, there will direct impact on Vietnam, and of course it's a manufacturing industry. So if we can diversify our markets, for example, we want to look into markets in Southeast Asia. We want to look into markets in Europe, Latin America, and we need to put in efforts to look for these markets, right? So if you can diversify your market, that will reduce the risk or reduce the vulnerability to one single market, right? The other thing is to diversify your products, right? So right now, tech products has a large proportion, I think about 30%, 40% of exports, dominated by tech-related products. So anything happen to the tech cycle, negative things happen. If it's a good thing, it will be good. But if it's a bad thing, it will have a very big impact, negative impact. So in order to reduce the vulnerability or to mitigate, we call that, to the vulnerability or the risk, then we need to diversify our products. One area that I can think of is agricultural products that Vietnam has already have and has a lot of different products, agricultural food products that they can export. For example, Vietnam is a large rice exporter. So that's another area they can look into by improving our, for example, the type of rice. By improving the yield, that means the cost will be lower, right, to make it more attractive. But all this will require investment. Teaching farmers and also different products and also different methods of planting and harvesting. And all this require very comprehensive efforts in the agricultural sector. And agriculture, we should not underestimate the power of agricultural products, because people think of it as, well, very low level. It's actually not. If you think about US is a large agricultural producer in, let's say, corn, oranges, and other and food and meat, beef and pork and all those things. So it is a very important sector that we should also look at. I think this trend will continue. Digitalization will continue on, because one of the things that digitalization will do is to help companies also to improve sales and reduce costs. For example, the Internet of Things, all these sensors, and the production automation processes. So it will help companies to reduce costs and improve sales. So companies will continue to invest, and with the government support, and then there will be more companies looking into this, and also for their own survival. Right? Even the local companies, how do I improve my costs? It's not just to cut people, but I want to improve my productivity, and digitalization will help you. Right? For example, the QR that is so popular in Vietnam and other places, it actually is a very important productivity tool. You don't have to deal with cash. You don't have to worry about cash being lost. You don't have to count, whether it's too much, too little, things like that. So it is an important important tool to improve productivity and cost. For 2024, I think we expect the trade to improve. The semiconductor cycle is turning, and there are signs that it will be better this year. And also with interest rate will be cut in the expected to be cut in the US, so that will improve demand and improve activity. So that will be very helpful for Vietnam, for their exports, for the manufacturing industry, and also I think the tourist arrivals, I think will continue. The visitors will continue to come in to be attracted by Vietnam as one of the visitor locations, destinations. So that all these areas, I think will see Vietnam going into a better year in 2024.